Greetings, 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 generations at the altar nights. I got tears in my eyes at the thought of what's getting ready to go down today. Listen, last generations at the altar nights, we had my dude, the amazing Dietrich Green on, talking about fatherhood and his amazing program that he works with father. But look, we just can't leave you in that vein. This time, we're going with the young people, with the youth, with my friend and my brother. And I don't just say that lightly. My brother, my dude, Terrell McCrae of Building Strong Mindsets. Listen, you want to tune in to this episode. You will be blessed. Trust me. Right?
Yeah.
Let's go. So, Terrell, the first question is the origin story. Building Strong Mindsets was born out of purpose, not convenience. What personal experiences or moments led you to create this organization? And how did those moments shape your passion for youth?
Before I answer that question, I just want to thank y'all for this platform and this time. It's not always easy to continue to do things and steadfast what God called you guys to do, but it's admiring, it's inspiring what you guys have been able to come together and do and create a platform for people such as myself and such as you all to spread the word and to spread the good news of people that's in the community and doing good things. And who better from it to come from than a black married couple. I applaud y'all and I love y'all for it.
Thank you too. Love you too, bro. Thank you, bro. I
So
appreciate that.
so for the question, which is it's so layered, right? So we can go into the beginning of me growing up in poverty in Philadelphia, mom and dad not doing so well, and of course I explain the story of my trauma and my past a little different now because I understand my parents had trauma and their parents had trauma, so I got way more grace when I talk in that fashion about my parents and about the situation that we grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's grace, but it wasn't nice and it wasn't easy, and still some of that trauma affect me to today, more so today than ever before in life.
Wow.
Just growing up in Philly, up and down type of lifestyle, mom and dad in church, out of church, in addiction, out of addiction, caused us to be homeless and in and out of shelters, in friends and family member houses and things of that sort. So my mom decided to make the move to North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. My aunt, rest in peace to her soul, she was down here and she invited us to come and live with her, but eventually she moved back to Philly. So we had to move, and it's crazy tight because we moved right off it on Hopkins Road, and you know the railroad track in between getting on the highway and Hopkins neighborhood.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I never forget. I was going. We walked to the store. Mind you, it's like 60 degrees, but I'm coming from Philly. Me and my brother, we coming from Philly. We like it's hot. Like it's warm. Like why should I have a coat on? And the lady sounds so country at the store. It sounded like she was like from Alabama or something. Like she was like, y'all don't got no coat on. I'm like, what you say? Like, all right. And then I seen somebody hop out the car with like some cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. I'm like, yo, where are we at? We are in, oh my God, what did happen? And I just immediately got back to the house and start crying. Like, yo, I'll never be in Philly again. Like, oh my God, where are we at? So that was a little funny story about my like first week here in Charlotte. Um, but then we end up going to the shelter. We end up living in the shelter for about a year or so. And then they had a program through public housing, which allowed us to move to Parker Heights. And that's where kind of the story and the motivation and the things that I went through in that community kind of uplifted me to make something that I felt like I didn't have. And during that time, my dad had passed. I was 16 when he passed. And we moved down here when I was 14. So our relationship at the time was kind of rocky, up and down. Um, I didn't understand why we was in the situation, but it was kind of like it's the equivalent to being a boxer, just going round after round, and you don't really get no ice, and you get a little ice in between rounds, but you don't really go take care of yourself. Everything that my family was going through, mainly me and my brother, it just felt like we were just in a boxing match. We just kept going round after round without getting the proper treatment to heal.
Wow.
Through all the things that we was doing and all the things that we, so then we start to normalize getting punched by things. We start to normalize not having Christmas. We start to normalize not having birthdays, not being celebrated. We start to normalize having to make our own money to because the thing was to look good at school because that's the only thing you had. I mean, that's the only thing you had at the time. So we start to normalize like not being celebrated and being literally neglected. We start to normalize that, and not just us, that whole community. Like that's how we all grew up, being neglected, being um, looked at in a certain light, and things of that sort. And the only time you seen something different from that was if you played sports, like I did. So I remember the vividly. I know it was like 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And I looked out my front window in Parker Heights, 1511 apartment F. Y'all know that. Y'all know that. So it was like, that's the main parking lot. So it was like some guys that was hustling out there. And it was like, it wasn't even a summer night type. It was a school night. And they was just out in the parking lot. And that's when it dawned on me, like I have to be different than that. I don't know what I'm going to do in my life. I don't know if I'm going to the league. I don't know if I'm going. I don't know what, but I gotta be different than that.
Wow.
Like my ancestors, the Holy Spirit, and one just came and gave me that slap in the head. Like, don't look at that too long, because that ain't gonna be you. So I think that's what sparked it, kind of, sorta. But then as I grew up, persevered through things, graduated high school, started at college, CPCC, uh, started working in mental health field, started getting into working with behavior youth. That's when it really started getting like, okay, my story is relatable. It's helping all these kids. Why can't it help the community? Why can't it help the kids that I know that's still struggling, the kids that I've been intertwined with through these years? Now, mind you, I'm a little younger, but that's no excuse. I started to build it up. I started to write things down. I started thinking about the name. So, and I want to say in 2018 was when I first let it all go. Building Strong Mindsets is the name, mentor organization. Um, and the very spark of it, and the very way I introduce it to people, is because Charlotte is always not for not having, right? Like, oh, they don't have this, they don't have that. So why don't you create it, right? So that was the mindset in turning over this leaf of, like, I'm not going to be in a situation where I keep complaining about what I don't have and what the city don't offer. Like, I really truly feel like it's up to us to help our own kind, our own community. And I'm not, when I talk about our own community, I'm not talking about color, I'm not talking about race, I'm talking about where you live, where you go, what's the need. And this is where God comes in the most, because that's what we're here for. In one capacity or other, you're here to be served or serve. It might go
Wow.
like serve this 6 months of your life, this 3 years of your life, this 5 years of your life, get served this years of your life. So that right there kind of turned it over to building a strong mindset. How I got started was taking my own money. I had a couple friends that was in CMS. I said, this is what I'm gonna do. Now, $100 ain't like it was back then. $100 was pretty cool now. Now gotta be like 150 now. When you giving away money and things of that sort. So I said, I'm gonna go to these 5 schools and I'm gonna give out $100 to the most approved student. I'm gonna come to the class. I'm gonna make an award and I'm gonna go to the schools. I think I went to West Charlotte, Olympic, Kennedy Charter, which is my alma mater in West Charlotte, Olympic, West Charlotte. Where else I go? I think I went to Hardin and West Mac. Those 5 schools. So that's $500 out my pocket. We're not gonna count no money, but I'm a thousandaire at this. But anyway, so then I got people to latch on. A friend of mine have a clothing brand. He jumped on like I'll throw some clothes in. Somebody did nails. Oh, I'll throw a voucher in. Somebody did a haircut. I'll throw a voucher in. So now you getting clothes, you getting your nails done, you getting $100, you getting a voucher, you all these stuff. I'm coming to your classroom and presenting like, hey, this is what I want to offer this kid for being the most improved student. So that's kind of how I got the buzz. So then
Wow.
from there we start doing like game nights at the Harvest Center in Charlotte. Start doing game nights. Gas was going up to the crazy, so that kind of slowed down. So then we start mentoring kids. I had a mentoring team that I started. It's still intact. We started mentoring kids individually, where we're meeting with them once a week via Zoom, FaceTime, phone call, however we can, and we doing an activity with them twice a month, a personal activity, and then a community service type of activity. So that was like the formula, and still is. That's what we still doing to today. Because we don't have a building, and the goal behind it is the whole spark up is to actually run a program, like a equivalent to an after school program, but we want to live school in school. If y'all get what I'm saying, we want to live school in school, and we want to take you to another level when you come where we at. So that's kind of like the goal, and that's kind of not kinda, but that is what we're striving for in the years to come. So
Oh,
that's where the story begins. That's where the story begins.
I like it. So the second question is mindset versus circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Many of the youth you serve face limited resources, trauma, or instability. From your experience, which you already touched, but from your experience, what mindset shift makes the biggest difference when circumstances don't change immediately?
It's a struggle. We go into we meet a kid, or we meet a mom might hit you up on Instagram, or a old person from school might hit you up, and then it's like the kids be around that age where they adolescents, and they're at risk of whatnot, and you look at the root of where they are, right? We always got to ask those questions. There's a thin line you play when you play with parents, because you don't want them to feel like they're not doing a good job, and things that they've sacrificed and things that they do on a daily basis to be appreciated. However, it's always work to be done, and it's always that something is missing to stand in the gap of y'all relationship, or the growth of the teenager or the pre-teenager. But I think the mindset always shifts when we continue just consistency, um, putting stuff in their face, but stuff that they're interested in, and kind of you just gotta outsmart them and kind of like groove in where you can kind of get into that vulnerable spot. Like, okay, if I know a kid like computers, okay, I'm gonna take him to where somebody doing computers at. But on the ride there, we're talking about a whole different thing. Mom told me that you having a little bit behavior. I'm not going. That's not my formula. Oh, mom told me that we're not gonna do it. Hey, what do you think about when your mom tell you to do something? Because when my mom was doing this, this is how I reacted. How do you think? Or how did you respond to that? Like, or you think that was fair if you was a mom and then you had this situation? So it's always scenarios, and it's always role play to kind of put it in their face of how it's supposed to look. You can tell somebody something, but how it looks always connects different. So
Wow.
role play and scenarios is like one of our biggest teaching points. One of our biggest examples on how we I want to say teach and show kids what correction, redirection, and empathy and understanding look like. You get all that in that scenario. You're like, dang, well, I ain't never look at it like that. So now that's the mindset shift. Now you can start looking at it in that perspective every time your mom asks you to do something. No, take this perspective. I always say we do what we got to do so we can do what we want to do. So if you bring
That's
that,
it.
you take that mindset of coming home from school or doing whatever, do all the chores, do all your homework, and now it's almost like you really like proving your mom wrong. And
Yeah.
it's like, aha, got you, mom. I got everything done. Aha. No. Oh, sweep the floor. It's already done. Close out the
Yeah.
done. Dishes done. Homework done. You need anything else? Now you get to pop it. Now you on your all right, but don't do it like that. But just be respectful when you're doing it.
Oh.
Because it got to a point like when I was 16, well 15, 16. That's when I learned that for myself. Like, all right, let me just go in here and do what I need to do before my mom be howling out the window. Anybody from Parker Heights could tell you, Marcus and Terrell. That's my brother name, by the way. Shout out my brother Marcus. But
Yes, look.
Marcus and Terrell, that she used to yell that out the window. Come do this, come do that. Cause see, it was different. We was outside. Everybody was outside back then. So yeah, I think that's the mindset shift though, for sure.
But before you go into the third
Yeah.
question, so my brother is involved with youth as well, and I remember he would say something about like they could bring them to the church, spend time with them, and all that kind of stuff, help them with school. But he said the biggest obstacle was when they had to go back home.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
and be in that environment. But what you're doing with the role play, I see how that could work because even in the environment, they can take what they learned from you and shift it, as much as they can,
Right.
to their capability. But I do remember him saying that he was like, we could pour, but he was like, they still have to go home to that situation, and that was like the hardest part of it. So he would deal with them until they, went to college and things like that, and would like the plan was to get them up out of there and still kind of mentor them, once they get out of college too. But it was like the environment was like the setback, in trying to help them like that.
I want to jump and ask Terrell on that. Terrell, what do you think about that? Because I know off this we've talked, and I've had the pleasure to hear your story and just experiences you've had. How much do you think when people say that for being a mentor, being effective and a leader as you are, how hard is that having those moments with the kids and then knowing they're going back into an environment is crazy.
Many of the conversations that go like that start with this. You have to be the one in your family, in your generation. It may not be fair. It's going to be hard. But if you want to live above, I got the saying how that the saying that I hate. I'm gonna give it to y'all. I hate oh my god, head above waters. I hate it because it's like if I'm just keeping my head above waters, I'm almost dying. So now I changed that to where like, okay, you are born with your head above waters, but you get to work to get a canoe. Right now we in the boat. Right now we on a yacht. Now we on a ship. And now we go above and underwater on the submarine. So that's the levels of life that we want to try to give examples to and understand. Like, look, head above water is crazy. You can't. A canoe is crazy. You're tired. It's no, but you can't take a break in the middle of the sea. You got to keep going. So unfortunately, you have been born with your head above water. You have to work to get that canoe, that boat, that yacht, that ship, that submarine. Like we have to work. And now, granted, that's not all the kids' situation,
Right.
but the kid that situation, they gonna get that conversation from you. And then now I'm using my story as a guideline. Now it's not. I'm a little bit more disciplined than a lot of people, so it's not gonna be like mine. But I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna kind of give you this manual. These stuff gonna happen. This gonna happen. You gonna feel like this. It's gonna happen like this. You have the decision to make in all of that. So I think when you're talking about going back into those environments, it's so crazy because then, well, Mr. Terrell, I was doing this, and then my mom came and did this, or my uncle came and did this, or my mom boyfriend did this. So now I gotta speak to mom. I gotta speak to the uncle. I gotta now, but now because I say I'm an advocate for you, but who am I as a mentor if I can't go and have those conversations, those tough conversations within the environment that they're in? And then
Wow, that's good.
now the next part of it is like, okay, you have to come to grips like those people just not gonna get it.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, our youth, kids, if kids watching this, if you're a teenager, you 16, 17, 18 years old, and your family just don't get it, they're not going to get it. You pray and you do what you need to do for your life. Work, school, study, challenge yourself, and get up out of there. I'm going to just be quick. I'm going to just be honest. And I'm not a black, hey, there's no gray areas. It's either going to be this or it's going to be that.
He sound like me.
That's the
So
real.
when I tell kids, I tell them, and we can go to the next question after I say this. I tell them, I will never beg you to be better.
Wow, 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 wow,
I'm
wow,
not going
wow.
to beg you to be better. I'm not going to beg you to work hard. I'm not going to beg you to do different things, things differently. Because until you too different, you always going to get the same. You're always going to get the same.
Go ahead. You ask the third question.
Okay. So, well, I mean, you kind of
He hit
you
it.
hit it. Yeah, you hit it. So you challenge young people to strive for greatness.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, it's like you said, you're not begging them or whatever, but you do challenge them.
Right.
How do you help them redefine greatness when they're in their environment may never affirm their potential?
Yeah,
I mean, you already answered that.
Yeah.
Go to number 4 then.
Okay. All right. So you work with youth transitioning into young adulthood, a very vulnerable season.
Yeah.
What patterns or cycles do you see most often, and how does building strong mindsets help interrupt them?
The patterns, fear, of course. Fear is a pattern. Rebellion is a pattern. And then you have like you have most kids that's like they want better, but their mind not developed enough to know better. So that's the conversation I have with the parents too, is like, okay, where's the grace in all this? Where is the understanding in all this? Because you was a teenager before and you had a tough mom before. You probably missed some things that you wanted to do before. However, I do, and then it's like we got to be careful with the manipulation of both, because it's always, oh, you talking to the parent, they tell me one thing, and then the kid tell me another thing.
Yeah.
So at some point, you might have to have a family meeting. At some point, you might have a come to Jesus meeting with both of them and say, hey, this is what the information. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about this? Go through different things that they might be struggling with so they can have a mediator. And it's not a therapy session. It's really a family meeting where I'm in y'all family now. I want to make impact, but we can't take more steps forward because of the strife or a situation. 9 times out of 10 is always a situation that happened, whether the boyfriend and the dad got into a fight, or the son stole some money from, or was claimed to steal some money, or something like that. You did something I ain't like 2 years ago, and now you 18. You did it when you was 16. Now that strife is still keeping us from getting to where we need to go. I think that's such a thin line when you bring them together, because different things start to come out that you never knew. And people in casework, they know how it is. They know it's always a surprise. It's always something somebody didn't tell you. So we have to be, and anybody that's doing mentoring, casework, and anything, you have to embrace those moments when that information that comes that we never heard, and don't say, well, why you ain't tell me? That's why they ain't tell you. So it's like we gotta hold our jaw, hold it together. That's interesting. I did not know that happened. So the root of that, now we gotta attack the root of that. How do you really feel about that situation right now?
Wow.
How do you feel in this moment? How do you feel about that situation that happened between you and your mom? And casework know is a lot of those situations happens with, it's two different dynamics. So with the girls, it happens with the mom and girls more often. A fight, you said this, you did that, you won't do this, you won't do that. But with the boys, it's more so of not feeling supported by mom or loved by mom or being somebody chose over them by mom. So it's a lot of different dynamics. So we touch those points. We touch those points and we try to find a root and a solution. And I wouldn't even call it solution. I kind of called it like if it was 10 questions on a test, like, can we at least get 7 right? Let's make progress. Let's make progress. It don't have to be perfect in how we move forward, but we gotta move forward. If y'all say y'all love you, and then you go to love. If you say you love somebody, you gotta forgive them. You gotta move forward. I truly believe you can still love somebody and don't forgive them. But ain't that the biggest contradiction ever?
Yeah.
That's the biggest. I love this person, but I can't forgive him.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, okay, especially with a mom and kid situation. And you know, your mom, and I tell Titus this all the time, your mom, your dad, probably your grandmom and grandparents might be the only people that love you unconditionally. Especially as men, right? So we as boys, like you know, so it's a deeper dynamic with that. And I haven't did a lot of research on that, so I ain't gonna touch it as much. But what I've seen is that connection between the mom and daughter is completely different between the dad. I mean, the son and the mom, because the mom feel like the boy. Here we go. The mom feel like the boy is not mature enough to take on certain roles, but the boy feel like he is. But he's still acting like a kid. But you're 14, you're 15, but you want to be treated like you're 14, 15, but you still acting like you're 11, 12. So that's the friction between the mom and the boy. Now, we're just going to keep it to the boys because we start getting the casework when we talk about girls. So yeah, I think that's the best way I can answer that.
Okay.
Question number 5 for parents, mentors, churches, and community leaders listening. What is one practical way they can help build strong mindsets in youth, even if they don't have a lot of resources?
Consistency. Consistency. This is what got me motivated the most. When I heard Judge Mathis, he said, this is how you build community. You take a little room in that church basement and you get kids to come and you get them to come meeting once a month. That's how it starts. Once a month on Saturday mornings, and you talk about God and you talk about being better and you talk about growing men, and then it start to 2 Saturdays, and then it start to 3 Saturdays, and then it start to 4. And then now we meeting on weekdays. Now we doing events. Now we sending kids to college. Now we raising money. So that's how it start. And that start by consistency. No matter what's going on, do not put nothing over that meeting, that event. It's purpose based. So really it's nothing more important than that. Now we have life, yes. We know America has us in the chokehold with bills and things authority you gotta do, and people working jobs they don't want to work, people working and not getting paid. But so we want to just consistency, and even to be transparent, moment with everybody that's watching, and you guys, like even with with this mentoring organization, like that has been one of my biggest struggles because we have such little resources. But it can't continue to be an excuse why we can't make impact. So that's what I'm working on in the next month or so, just being more consistent, and still pouring into kids' lives and doing different things. So I think consistency, if you're listening, churches, organizations, schools, anything, anybody that want to mentor or be in people's life, you have to be consistent no matter what the rebuttal is. Now, we don't want to beg and plead with families or kids, no. However, we still want to send that extra text, send that extra email. Like our program, like the Harvest in the Charlotte, like we say, we don't want to hold your hand, but we want to walk beside you, and we want to nudge that shoulder sometimes. So that extra text or that extra email, that extra, I prayed for you today, thinking about you. How you doing? You good? You sure? That's that extra nudge. Ain't nobody want to run and work out with nobody and don't talk to him. Oh, he was there, but he wasn't there. Oh, we went on a walk. Yeah, we just went on a walk, but we ain't talk. Like, come on. So it's like just being that extra person that nudge that shoulder every now and again, even if they ain't responding or they don't respond. We have to make sure that we're in a space where that is a focus of being consistent.
Terrell, I wanted to ask you, as we prepare to close out, before I ask you the final last question, I wanted to ask you about if you could discuss real quick, because I know one of your things that you talk about a lot is the importance of impact. How important is impact?
Hold on, I didn't hear you. What you say? I'm sorry.
I say, how important is impact? I say, I know that impact is something that you speak a lot on now. When we'll just have random conversations, but you always focus on the importance of whatever you're doing to make sure that it's impactful. How important is impact to you, or could you explain to viewers the importance of impact versus reputation, or just being validated? Like impact carries more weight than those things.
Yeah.
How could you speak to that?
So watch this. Influence is events, right? Events. Fame is influence, right? Building strong mindsets, sell t-shirts, sell socks. They in the schools. They do back to school events. It look like it's. That's what fame looks like, right? So that's influence, but the impact is who you are, your character. So when people mentor or people come sit in my office or come call this phone or have these conversations, I want them to see who I am, and the people who work with me, not too far off of who I am. Right. And anybody that's attached to me, they've worked on character, because the impact shows in your character.
That's it.
But don't get us wrong. We want the influence, but we want the influence to draw you in. Then you get the character, so then we make the impact.
That's good, Terrell. That's good.
Hold on. Before you ask the last question. So let's go back to when we was talking about if they had the lack of resources. And then you said it was like consistency, and it's a way to kind of build it up. Do y'all have anything in place where you can go into these places and kind of help them get something like that started in their church or anything?
That's good. That's a great question. I've been in a lot of talks with a lot of churches and a lot of organizations to where we set it up to where we come once a week. We've had that. We've been in schools to where we was trying to be consistent and doing things, but somehow it fell off between the communication, and sometimes somebody say they was going to be there and then they don't. We got to cancel it, things of that sort. And that's why the most thing is being consistent. Nothing is more important than meeting today. I don't care if 3 kids showed up. Nothing is more important than being consistent. Being consistent.
Wow.
Making building strong mindsets a beat, because we're doing it. We're doing workshop tours to where we're going to schools and doing workshops, giving away, doing different topics that we talk about, and we're having kids sign up for it. So you're not forced to be in there. So if you sign up for it, you'll be in there willingly. So now I know who I have in the room, and the conversation is different too when you want to be there, right? So that's, I think, more so of other personal resources too, like things. If a kid need a job, we can hook them up with a job. We can figure that out. Kids need ID. Kids need bank accounts. Kids need different things, that a license, things that we can do as people to help them. Like, I can help you get an ID. I can take you fill out a job application. I can sit next to you filling out a job application. I can get you a resume made. Like, this is stuff, like, this is textbook. This is easy stuff. And it's little stuff that you'll be amazed to see how many 17, 18-year-olds don't have a bank account, don't have an ID, don't have a license. Like, this is little stuff that you can just do and take time out your day as a mentor or as a community person or a person that just want to give back. Like, yo, I'm taking kids to get their ID today.
Yeah.
Who want to sign up? Like, just little stuff like that.
So, Terrell, last question, bro. What keeps you grounded when the work feels heavy, and how do you personally guard your own mindset?
Man, I knew you was gonna ask that question. Man, how do I keep grounded? Man, my relationship with God has tremendously took a leap in the last year or so. I think just going to God, man. I don't want to sound too preachy or too I would say, like, oh yeah, of course he would say go to God. Like, I don't want to sound like too cheesy or too, but it is a formula, man. Like, he works. He works, man. He works. And I'm just now understanding, like, that's what grounds me. Just going to God in my frustration, going to God in my worry, going to God in my fear. Yeah, just going to God. But see, the other part of it, yeah, you can go to God, but I feel like God is the covering, right? But he can't walk you into that door. He can cover you because you know where to go, but he gonna cover you. But it's up to you to have the courage to walk in that door and be covered. So, yeah, man, I still struggle with that. I'm still struggling with that, but I'm working towards that and understanding that. And just yesterday, I had a moment like that where I had to just go to God. I was talking to Titus yesterday in the office about it. Like, I had to just go to God. And last but not least, like, I've been in a situation to where I know for a fact we're going to have to make God a priority in building strong mindsets. And I don't know if that's a church maybe involved or church ministry or whatever it is, but I know in order for this thing to go to the next level, we have to make God a priority in it. And I think so long in my life, I've been trying to, well, in my 20s, I was just trying to prove everybody wrong. Like, I'm not this dirty kid from North Philly, West Boulevard, Parker Heights no more. I got this, I got that. I look like this, I look like that. And the moment I stopped that is the moment God put me in my purpose to start mentoring and things of that sort. They get that chip off my shoulder. The moment doors start opening and ideas start coming, the moment I let that go. And now I'm in a space where I let go, like, of feeling like I got God, but I don't. But I got God. Like, I thought I had God before, but I got God now. You know. So I think, because you look at your life, you like, well, I need a house to become. I need this. I need to make this type of money to become. I need this woman. I need a kid now. And then all those things I accomplished. Shout out to my wife too, my beautiful wife. When you watch this, I love you.
Salute, Shawty. Woo!
And my son Amir.
Mir nephew. Yeah.
And I had all that, and I'm trying to navigate through life and do things the right way, because you feel like because you're doing the things the right way, that is God, right? And now I'm the type of person that got this. I have discipline. I'm gonna do things the right way. I'm consistent, but not without God. You ain't doing nothing right without God. In this past year, I've really been consistent and intentional about my relationship with God and making time for Him on a daily basis, no matter how I feel, no matter who I done prayed for yesterday. You mess around, get prayed for 7 days, because God will put somebody on your heart like that. You could be praying about something else, and that name will come up. And God, touch Titus right now, God. Anything that he's doing, anything that he's connected to, God. Anything that he want to hope, anything that he have fear about, God. Touch his mind, touch his body, touch his health. Make sure he eat right today, God. And this, my prayers go like, we know you are doing, God, so it's already done.
Yeah. Hey,
I know you like that.
Don't get me started on that. It's already done. What we asking for? It's already done. We thanking him at this point. Yeah.
Right. So I think that's what keep me grounded, man. My time with God. My time. Well, it hasn't always keep me grounded. Other things kept me grounded, like working out, playing basketball. What they say, self-care,
Self-care,
and all that. Get you some God. Get you some God. So yeah.
Listen, I'm so happy that this young man, Terrell McCrae, this man is on here. One of the things is funny, babe, lean this way. So y'all that's watching, see behind us on my wall over there is a picture I painted some years ago of Ali and Muhammad Ali, which is one of my favorite people as well. And when I met Terrell, it was just like God put on my mind, and I always used to tell Terrell, rumble, young man, rumble. And they said that to Ali because it was like he would always say rumble because he understood that inside the ring and outside of the ring, just being in life, you got to rumble. And I know that Terrell, everything that Terrell has been through, the journey ahead, I'm going to say to you, Terrell, I ain't going to cry because I know he don't like stuff like that, but I'm so proud of this dude. I'm so proud of the man he is and the man that he's becoming. I know his ancestors out there, the aunties and his mom and dad are up there proud. I'm proud. And man, I love you, and I just thank God for you. And yeah, rumble, young man, rumble.
That's good.
Rumble, young man, rumble. Thank you, Terrell McCrae, for being with us today on Generations at the Altar Nights.
Thank y'all for having me. Thank y'all so much. I love you too, bro.
All right. You good?
Yeah, let me add this one thing too. One thing that I noticed that I have a teenager, and what she aspires to learn more about is finances. At this point, so it's making me think that maybe that would be something to be teaching the kids too, is about financial literacy.
He does.
Early. Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
There we go.
That's part of the workshop piece. Yeah, that's part of the workshop piece.
Ooh, that's good.
Whoever's calling us in to do a workshop, we'll see what the struggle is, what the topic is, and kind of go off of that. And we always add financial literacy in there because a couple of the mentors, we own homes. We have access. I mean, we have assets. So we explain what that is and go into that, and it becomes a whole thing.
That's good. That's good, because like he was saying that, I was like, yeah, and I can see the workshops and what you're doing and stuff, because it's a lot of pieces to it, but the way that you framed it, and then of course with God centered, it's just everything is just you can see the pieces all coming together in building strong mindsets.
So she asked me a question off air. She was like, and I'll let Terrell answer. So she said, is it for what age groups does building strong mindsets focus on? Is it just girls? Is it just boys? Is it a combination? I'll let Terrell answer that for the people that are watching.
Before the year is up, it will be a combination, but right now it's from 6th to 12th grade boys. And it varies a little different. More so middle school. We shifted more so to middle school boys, just because that's where all the trepidations is happening, all the finding they self is happening. So we're trying to get into more middle schools via high schools, because the high school thing is going to be a little different how we approach that, because kids are mature, kids are working, kids are being intimate, kids are dealing with a whole different type of thing. So we want to separate the two, because we want to prioritize the need differently.
Okay.
That's
all right.
good.
Thank you, Terrell.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank y'all. Blessings.
Oh.
I'll see you soon.
Okay.
All right, bro.
All right.
Peace. God bless, man.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. What can I say? It just be those people, man, that you meet in life that I know heaven got to be up there smiling, because I'm down here in earth smiling about the amazing work that this young man, Terrell McCrae, Building Strong Mindsets, is doing. And I say that because, as you can see, I don't only see what he's done, I can see where it's going. And like he talked about, the beauty and the power of consistency, the beauty and the power of, if you start a thing, keep that thing going. The beauty and power of talking about the difference between influence and impact. Like, I like when he said the influence will bring them in, but then, that impact will be the thing that'll keep them there. You know what I'm saying? And then the thing he talked about, character. Oh.
Yeah, it was really good. I was like the fact that this is something that's personal for him. Seeing the way, just in the community, how things were for the youth, and not just saying, okay, well, I see it, but actually doing something about it and putting something in place, for the youth. And as I was telling my husband, I mean, this is just really so many different pieces, but it's all centered on God's plan.
Yeah.
So all those pieces are coming together nicely. And then I just love the fact that not only is he, when you think of mentor, you think, it's just someone that's just there for you when you need someone to kind of help you when you make decisions and things like this. But this has so many facets to it, with the financial literacy, and if you have an appointment and you need to, get your driver's license, or
just taking the kids, he's just not talking about it. He's walking them through it. He ain't just saying go do it. He's willing to go out there with them and do it. But then I think the part that I hope you guys, if you didn't, go back and watch and see, he was birthed into this situation. Like, life circumstances caused him to see, like he said, in what he saw in the community that was missing, to be the change that he needed, that maybe he didn't have. He became the change, and is now Building Strong Mindsets is a change for many youth. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part for me that blesses me, and that's going to bless you. And I hope that bless you by watching this. How can they find out about Terrell?
Well, okay, he has a website, www.buildingstrongmindsets, that's an S on the end, mindsets.org. He's also on Instagram, that is at Building Strong Mindsets. That's one word. And then also he's on Facebook, Building Strong Mindsets Mentor Organization. So you can find him on social media, and then we've also dropped his logo in here for you to see it as well. So when you're going to those social media pages, you know that you're at the right page.
So listen, again, thank you guys for watching. Go rewatch, like, share, subscribe. Not only to what we're doing, but go like and share, subscribe to Terrell's stuff and the other guests that we've had on. You know what I'm saying? Help to keep pushing this good work, this God work along. Thank you guys at Generations at the Altar Nights family. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Peace.